morning and welcome to another episode of Lovin Daily. Today we have a number of topics we'll be discussing. The headlines of today's show are SILVIO SCHEMBRI's recent comments about the economy, foreign workers in Malta and the way the situation is headed, flight ban as of Saturday. We're going to be seeing some videos about from yesterday at 9 p.m. A lot of Maltese and foreigners collapsed in their balconies for the healthcare professionals. Our usual update about the corona situation in Malta, and we'll be discussing a homicide which took place yesterday the body was found yesterday in Lucija. Good morning, Chris, how are you?
Good morning, I'm fine. I came a bit smarter today
because
I think today is going to be a bit of a heated one, especially with the first story. So, as Paula said in the introduction, our economy minister SILVIO SCHEMBRI yesterday said a comment he knew was going to be controversial, as he said in the comment. We'll cut to the comment soon. Basically, what he's saying is that foreign workers who lose their jobs because of the economic crisis triggered by the coronavirus will be deported immediately. Let's just cut to the clip, and then we'll discuss it afterwards.
Kwistjoni ta' ħafna ħaddiema barranin fosthom third country nationals li jaħdmu f'diversi setturi fosthom cleaners, securities, li jaħdmu fis-settur tal-mod partikolari tat-turiżmu. Hawnhekk jista' jkun li forsi ħanaqla kritika fuqha, però jien hawnhekk nixtieq nkun ċar, charity begins at home. L-intenzjoni primarja tagħna f'dal-mument ukoll tkun li niggarantixxu primarjament il-jobs tal-Maltin u l-Awċin. U fil-fatt diġà hemm diskussjonijiet marbutin ukoll mal-Ministeru Intern li inti meta jkollok permit ta' barranin ukoll li għandhom permess joqogħdu hawn Malta x'kun qed jaħdmu, il-mument li jispiċċalhom il-xogħol tagħhom hawnhekk ovvjament iridu jirritornaw pajjiżhom. U għalhekk nafu biha dik u għaddejjin diskussjonijiet ukoll mal-Ministeru tal-Intern sabiex naraw li dik ukoll tiġi indirizzata. U fil-fatt għalhekk qed nitkellmu li l-miżuri primarjament hawnhekk ħankun qed naraw li f'mumenti bħal dawn naraw li nipproteġu il-jobs tal-Maltin u l-Awċin kemm jista' jkun.
So this clip is triggering a lot of people online, both positive and very negative comments. I personally think this is totally the wrong thing to say right now. You know, we're in the middle of a health crisis, obviously as well an economic crisis, and what we expect from our economy minister is to send signs of confidence, to send signs of unity, and to put his money where his mouth is and actually contribute to the situation. To me, the scapegoating of foreigners and foreign workers who were fine for the past 10 years in our economy, but are now suddenly, we face them with this sort of uncertainty when they probably can't even fly home. Now let's remember as well that we've got foreign workers in hospital at the moment, helping in this health crisis. And we also have a lot of Maltese abroad who are struggling to see what's going to happen to their jobs in other places. I get that we need to send a signal that ultimately the government is there to protect its constituents, etc. But ultimately, we really need to, this is just the wrong thing to say. You've got to, at this point, I think, not create this sentiment of foreign workers are the scapegoat. We need to get rid of them immediately, and put them in this horrible situation. So I don't know what you think about that, Paula.
Ara, jien nemmen li kieku l-Ministru għall-Finanzi qed jitkellem ċertu konfidenza, jiena l-bniedem ma nemnux għaliex l-ebda pajjiż fid-dinja huwa konfidenti dwar l-ekonomija tal-pajjiż u tal-businesses. Nies Maltin, barranin, kulħadd min hu impjegat u mbeżza li din id-daqqa ħajkun hemm ħafna nies li jispiċċaw bla xogħol. Issa, jien nixtieq immur ġiex passi lura, and I'm actually going to speak in English because this might have been a comment which has alarmed a lot of foreigners, and therefore I want to make sure I'm understood well by our foreign viewers. Yesterday, SILVIO SCHEMBRI made this statement in a context. Now, I'm not trying to defend anyone, I'm just trying to inform our viewers. Yesterday, coronavirus was discussed in Parliament. Now, last week, there was an attempt to discuss coronavirus in Parliament, but the Speaker refused. And today, after yesterday's discussion, I tend to agree with the Speaker's position. Why? Because when you put in any subject, be it a health subject, an economic subject, whatever, social subject, when you throw that subject into Parliament, which is literally a room full of politicians, it is going to be
immature politicians in that.
It is going to be politicized. Now, politicizing the coronavirus is the last thing we need in a country where everything is politicized.
But isn't that what the economy minister did? Politicize
Yes,
it?
exactly. So this discussion was bound to happen. Discussing this in Parliament, we were bound to have some sort of result of this sort. Now, what happened was the Honourable Beppe Fenekadami, the Member of Parliament from the opposition side, asked a question on the lines of, listen, is government worried that if a number of foreigners are made redundant, the criminality rate in Malta will go sky high? Sort of insinuating that, listen, foreigners, once they find themselves without a job, will start stealing Maltese, which does not make sense, because even Maltese, if they are in the situation, might end up being criminals. You can't say a foreigner or Maltese person will be a criminal. Let's start from there.
Ultimately, if the foreign worker loses his job, they're probably going to leave anyway. No one's here for the sun and the you know.
We must also place a distinction between third country nationals and EU nationals working in Malta.
Who have a right to stay
Who
in
have
Malta.
a right, full stop. What SILVIO SCHEMBRI did, but he could have been more sensitive in the way he said this, he quoted a law which has been there for ages. This is an EU directive which states that every third country national residing in a country has to be here for a purpose, whether educational purpose, whether to work, whatever. So, the moment a third country national does not have a work permit which is applied for by his employer, and Lovin Malta covered, in fact, a story about this, it means that he no longer has a right to reside in the country. This is not government strategy to attack this coronavirus economic impact.
Ultimately...
So that is what he said. Now, he was insensitive because this is the last thing people want to hear. It is a reality which we will be facing, but he could have said it in a nicer way.
And in fact, the reaction, I think what's interesting this morning to see the reaction of many EU nationals as well, who interpreted that sentiment of charity begins at home, because let's not just say, like, he didn't just say third party nationals will be deported. What he said is our priority is the jobs of Maltese and Gosden. So creating this distinction between someone who is Maltese and someone who is not Maltese living in Malta. And the truth is, we know so many people, so many mixed families, so many people who have, so many foreign workers who have been in Malta for so long that they probably should have a vote, but for some reason they still don't, you know. And this is a very, I think, negative sentiment at the moment. I would expect some sort of clarification and maybe apology and maybe even an outreach and a change of tone. Ultimately, you know, we're all in this together. The whole world is in this together, so this is not just about Maltese and Gossitans. You know, we need to be thinking about ways to boost the global economy again together, not to be just fighting for our own. To me, this is on the same lines of Trump asking for exclusive access to the vaccine. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, like let's not be so populist in this time when we need to reach out.
That's the problem of Parliament. So you're there to be populist. I don't think that foreigners who have been working in Malta for a number of years will be kicked out just because they're foreigners. That would be totally wrong and discriminatory.
Let's move on to the next story, because we took a bit too long on that one.
All right. Mela, ħanerġa' neqleb bil-Malti għall-benefiċċju tal-programm bilingwista tagħna. Minn nhar is-Sibt il-flights kollha lejn pajjiżna ser jisiru biss flights biex outbound flights li xinħarġu il-cargo, humanitarian cases u repatriation cases biss ser jitilgħu fuq ajruplan biex jitilqu minn pajjiżna u bekk ġifieri ser naraw l-arrivals l-airport ikun deserted għaliex mhux sa jibqa' jkun hemm il-flights normali.
Yeah, I think this is unprecedented. You know, we've never had in Malta all inbound flights except for cargo, humanitarian repatriation and ferry flights being stopped. There's a temporary suspension that starts on Saturday, and the Malta International Airport is advising people to not come to the airport unless they've got a flight booked.
Daqshekk mortu kafe l-airport.
This is again a very, very difficult time for Malta. We had a bit of a
Kien
conspiracy
ovvjament
theory
għax
as well.
dal-pajjiż kifet kollox huwa politiċizzat hemm dil-conspiracy theory hemm barra li bdija l-Onorevoli Jason Azzopardi li stennejna sas-sibt, il-gvern stenna sas-sibt biex jala il-frontieri biex jilħaq jasal Joseph Muscat Malta mit-titjira li kellu barra.
U fil-fatt wasal il-bira.
U wasal
Yesterday,
il-bira.
Joseph Muscat, the former Prime Minister, arrived after being on holiday with his family.
Ma nafx kienx waħdu jew bil-familja però. Ma derux il-familjari fil-ritratt.
Fil-ritratt le, I think it was said that he was actually abroad with his family. But anyway, we'll
Li
move on.
ċertu l-għandu ġematej kwarantina.
Yeah. We'll move on to the next story. Yesterday at 9 p.m. there was a really heartwarming and beautiful gesture by the Maltese, Cosseton and foreign people from living in Malta, thanking the healthcare workers for all their hard work in this very difficult and very unique situation. We'll just cut to that video of these applauses that happened outside people's homes yesterday. Yeah, that was really nice. I spoke to some friends of mine who work in Malta Day as well, and who heard the cheering from all over Malta, and they were really touched by it. I think it was a very nice gesture.
Yeah.
I think this is something that started in other parts of the world, and Malta followed suit. But well done for anyone who went outside yesterday at 9 p.m.
Pembroke, il-fireworks għamlu, ġiri proset.
Yeah, and there was people, the Freeport as well, just a really nice gesture. Can you maybe give us an update on the health
Mela,
situation?
sissa sal-aħħar aġġornament uffiċjali tal-gvern f'pajjiżna 38 każ ta' persuni li għandhom il-COVID-19, li żar pazjenti der li hu tifel ta' 3 snin. Minn daw il-każijiet jidher li kien hemm 4 minnhom il-bieraħ li tħabbru l-bieraħ li kienu każ ta' local transmission. Fosthom ta' raġel ta' 52 sena li s'issa l-awtoritajiet għedhom qed jippruvaw ifittxu kif dar raġel laqtitu din l-infezzjoni. Tajb li ngħidu li żewġ persuni wkoll huma rikoverati u wieħed jistenna l-każijiet illum ser ikomplu jiżdiedu.
I'll just repeat that in English for the benefit of our many international viewers, including people from Canada and the Netherlands and many other places today. So as we said, 38 cases so far in Malta, 2 of whom have recovered. Yesterday, 8 new cases were found, 4 of which are believed to be locally transmitted and 4 of which are not. 4 of which are presumed imported. The youngest person who has coronavirus is a 3-year-old. And yesterday as well, an important development was that a 52-year-old man was found tested positive for the virus, but did not seem to have come into contact with anyone who has been abroad or who had already been known to the authorities. So obviously that's a bit of a scare. It's a bit worrying in terms of how far the virus is spreading. Having said that, I think it's no surprise that this is spreading beyond just the travel situation.
What's positive is that yesterday no one was found to be breaching mandatory quarantine.
Yeah.
The 3K fine must have done the trick. So proset u millum kullimkien restaurants, bars, snack bars, kolla maluqin inkluż il-gym, naflaħat ta' kbira, Chris. Jiena fl-aħħar issa għandi skuża tajba li ma nirsax lem. Fej dawn ovvjament bħala prekawzjoni inagħlqu until further notice.
On the plus side, and this is something I care a lot about as well, takeouts are still permitted. So even though many restaurants are having to close. As in all restaurants have to close in terms of serving patrons, but takeout food and deliveries are still ongoing. And I think that's it from the health perspective,
yes,
right?
another story. Soltu kienet tkun l-ewwel storja fl-aġenda ta' kwalunkwe bulettin tal-aħbarijiet. Raġel ta' 62 sena il-bieraħ instab imqatta, m'hemmx kelma oħra, f'daru. Jidher li kien ilu hemmhekk tant li l-ġirien kellhom jirrapportaw l-irwejjaħ li kienu ħirġin mill-appartament tiegħu.
So we're still getting details on this story, but this morning there was a bit of an update. So a dead body was found murdered in Santa Lucia yesterday, wrapped in garbage bags, or the person is a 62-year-old male.
He was chopped up so badly that still yesterday we didn't even know if it was a male or a female.
Yes, and he had been in the house. Today they know that it's a man, and that the man was known to police. So when you know, we say this in Maltese reporting, the understanding is that you know, this is something to do with the criminal underworld, I guess. Maybe another mafia-style killing in Malta. Yeah, so the neighbors had to report a stench that was coming from the block of apartments, and Inspector Keith Arnaud is on the case. So we'll see any developments over there. I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for following Lovin Daily. As we said, some controversy about the statements made by the Economy Minister. Flight ban starting on Saturday. Incoming flights will not be allowed in Malta anymore, except for very particular ones, cargo, humanitarian, etc. A nice cheering to healthcare workers yesterday by the Maltese public. 8 new cases yesterday. The health updates from Shaminga this morning, and a murder, the second death in a couple of
Gruesome
days.
one.
A very gruesome one in this case. That's it from Lovin Daily.
Stay home, stay safe, and keep loving.
This episode of Lovin Daily was brought to you by Chevo by Wayne.